caught off guard there. So it's me, Demetra K. Thank you so much for being here. I am with Donovan the Black Yule, Brenner Sadiq. Bald is the eagle's booty.
But it feels so good.
Just bald. You feel the breeze?
Yeah. Oh, man, it feels so good. So good. Trust me. And here's the secret. I won't age. 10 years from now, I'll pretty much look the same.
So anyway, I am Demetra K, and this is the Demetra K Show on this beautiful Sunday. And I should say to everyone, Happy Savior's Day. It is now going on. I believe Farrakhan is still speaking. Sound like he was closing it up right before I came on here. So, again, Happy Savior's Day to you all. You guys, please catch that message if you get a chance. I caught the message, and that's actually where my talking point comes from today. Seeing half of who?
No, he's seeing half me because I'm over here. Well, the thing is, because I'm still putting the show up on a podcast, so I'm kind of leaning this way, but I'll move over in a second.
He'll move over. And do I smell?
No. And then she's showing them things. I don't want Al to get out,
Yeah, right. Showing no things.
We're trying to get views up.
Right. So anyway, that's where my message came from as a derivative, if you will, of the Savior's Day address. And so anyway, I also like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything that he does behind the scenes. You are much loved and appreciated. Also, hello to everybody on all of the podcasts. Thank you for joining us. And to YouTube, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel for more insightful commentary. And to Facebook, the Ride or Die audience, the other side of the conversation, thank you for being here.
Yes, if you guys got Amazon or Google Home, a lot of people have been calling me and say, how do I do that? All you got to do is put in the Demetra K Show podcast. You got to put podcast in there, and they will start playing your show. Right. Okay. It'll start seeing, but you got to put podcast. You just can't say the Demetra K Show. The Demetra K Show podcast.
Okay,
and it'll come up on Google Home and all that other stuff. So.
Okay. And so anyway, I'm going to get to every last one of you guys' comments. And so as you guys all know, we are knee deep in election season. We're going to continue to talk about...
Bernie smashed him. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So we're going to continue talking about things about the election, but specifically... my message, and I should also say the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all the things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, right? So that's what we strive to do here. So anyway, let's get to it, right? So you guys know that is election season. And even before Farrakhan said what he said, and I'm going to you guys get into that in just a second, I was reading a lot of articles about all of these black leaders, I should say loosely in quotations, that are coming out for, let's say, Mike Bloomberg, right? And we kind of talked about it a little bit on Friday, but I don't want to say I'm amazed at the amount of black leadership that's coming out for him, but it's just like, they're so obvious with it. And so let me digress here. So Farrakhan said black people need leaders that can't be bought, right? And so we've seen all these black leaders, as I said, come out for Mike Bloomberg. And one would think, like, why? What's in it for them? Well, some of them has gone on record, and it's been exposed that a lot of these leaders, black leaders, quote unquote, have gotten money, campaign.
Dropping that money.
Yeah, campaign money and all kind of stuff. One of those people is Stacey Abrams. You guys have probably heard of Stacey Abrams.
What a surprise. Yes. What a surprise.
Stacey Abrams, she was running for the governor of Georgia. Running for the governor of Georgia, and she narrowly lost from what they're saying. And
you're still a loser. At the end of the day, you're a loser.
Yeah, so she narrowly lost, and so she has this initiative called Fair Fight, where they go out and try to stop voter suppression and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And so Mike Bloomberg gave her initiative, $5 million. But she says, as of now, from what I understand, she hasn't endorsed him, but it's like, come on. Not only did he give that initiative, her and Stacey Abrams' initiative, $5 million, he gave her campaign in 2018 $500,000. And so we all know that when somebody gives you money, whether it's a lobbyist, because in that capacity, that's what Mike Bloomberg was, a lobbyist, if you will. Hey, I'm going to give you this money, and eventually I'm going to need you to do something for me, right?
Hopefully that favor will never have to ask you for that favor.
Yes.
Hopefully that day will never come.
Right. So she hasn't said she's against Mike, but she says, I haven't endorsed anybody yet. But it's like, come on. We're not stupid, right? And then you have Gregory Meeks. He is a representative.
Loser.
He's also black, a representative, and he says, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, well, we know that Mike Bloomberg made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, we know he was only doing the stop and frisk to save lives. He was only trying to save lives. So I'm like, okay, what's in it for you? So I'm assuming, eventually it'll come out exactly why this Gregory Meeks is, now taunting the praises of Mike Bloomberg, if you will. We also know that a copious amount of Congressional Black Caucus members have endorsed Mike Bloomberg, Bobby Rush being one of them. Who else do we have? Someone by the name of Lucy McBath has endorsed him. Bobby Rush is, guys most of know him from the original Black Panthers. He was co-founder of the original Black Panthers, and he has just completely bought in to the system.
Why not?
And I think, to me, this is the final nail in the coffin of who he used to be. Endorsing someone like Michael Bloomberg. And let me digress for those of you guys who, let's say, don't know who Michael Bloomberg is. He was a 3-time mayor of New York City. He also is the father of stop and frisk in New York City. And I would go ahead to say this tri-state area where it was fashioned to stop black men and brown men, harass them, if you will, walking down the street, minding their business to make sure, because in his ideology was because they could be going to commit a crime. So we need to stop them and see if that's the case. And so,
which totally is illegal. You can't assume a crime has to be made,
right?
Because isn't there a movie? Wasn't that a movie, Artificial Intelligence, or the one with Tom Cruise, where the person hasn't done a crime, but they thought about doing a crime, and he would go after him before they actually did the crime?
I don't know.
But I forgot the name of the movie. You guys know what I'm talking about. But you have to do the crime before they could come get you.
Right. So, and we know that about 95% of the arrests were baseless. There was nothing to them. As I said before, some men individually were stopped 20 to 30 times apiece. Khalif Browder, if you guys aren't familiar with his story, he's no longer here. He committed suicide, but as a 16-year-old, he was one of the victims of stop and frisk, sent to Rikers Island without even going to trial or anything for 3 years before they let him out, and then he could not cope with all of the things that he had endured while he was in Rikers Island, and he eventually killed himself. So that story is on Netflix.
Right, and also remember it was Mike Bloomberg that held up the Central Park Five's settlement.
Yes.
That was Mike Bloomberg.
Right. So Mike Bloomberg is not a good person. Of course, he talked about black people being a large cause of the 2008 recession because they got rid of redlining in some areas that did not allow black people to buy real estate in certain areas. And so he's not a good dude, but yet you have all these black leadership people, if you will, coming out for him. Another one is the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, who has turned out to just not be a friend of black people. I guess Mike Bloomberg has a thing called Mike for Black America, a program going on in Houston, and Sylvester Turner is, holding on to his coattail too. And the unfortunate part about black leadership is
lacking.
We know that is lacking, but a lot of those people that I just mentioned are very influential, especially to, let's say, the older generation, right? They're very influential, and what these people say, these so-called black leaders, those people will go along with it because they figure, if somebody like Sylvester Turner or Stacey Abrams, which people love Stacey Abrams, white, black, whatever. They see her as this beacon of hope.
The people in our generation and above.
Right. Well, they see her as this beacon of hope to get rid of voter suppression or this, that, and the other. But, if you're looking at it from a black point of view, Stacey Abrams is one of those all lives matter type people. And so she really, I don't want to say she doesn't have the black people's interest at heart. She doesn't solely have our interest at heart, if you will. So, but yeah, she's a big recipient, if you will, of Mike Bloomberg, and that to me is very telling. And so let's take somebody like Stacey Abrams, who people really look to. You see her on all these television programs, The View, and all this other stuff. So she has a wide reach. But eventually, I don't doubt that she will come out and say, "Hey, let's go ahead and vote for Mike Bloomberg."
Yeah, Kamala Harris all over again. It's,
Yeah.
What's really funny about that people in the South know that this systemic racism goes on. They know it, okay, but yet they do not fight it. They just go along with the flow of what's going on. I'm not saying her efforts aren't admirable and she's trying to change anything, but you're not,
But why fight for voter suppression? And I'm going to get to you guys' comments.
That's
why
where I'm going.
Fight for voter for suppression if you're going to take money from a guy who suppressed black people?
That's where I was going.
It's like, to me, the messages don't jive. And so, and especially in the South, and no shade to anybody in the South, but the South has a whole, like, we all have issues as black people, but the South has a lot of issues. And then you have all these so-called leaders that come out of the South who, talk a good game, but eventually they get slid the right amount of zeros, and then they start to flip their message, and they say, okay, I know I told you we need to do this, but now we're going to do that. And
remember when Trump won election, how many of the black bootlicks, them pastors and stuff went up there? It's the same, it's just crazy how the slime bags, dirt bags come out of the woodwork just to get a payday.
And that's what Farrakhan also talked about, the pastors and the preachers who are, for Trump, if you will. And he did a nice little segment on Trump. I think everybody should check it out. But all the pastors who have been bought by Trump to go out and sell out black people. So they've sold out, but they want to sell black people out for 30 pieces of silver, if you will. And so what I would like to say is, we need to hold those leaders, those so-called leaders, and I'm saying that loosely, we need to hold them accountable at the polls, because the local and the state elections are what really impact us the most. And so you have these representatives who we are putting in office, and they're going to Washington, and, they're not doing what we would like them to do,
for
especially for black
people,
our district and black people. But now they're going up and forgiving a dude who made a lot of people's lives pure hell.
Yes.
Last week we talked to Sydney, one of them, a few guys that came on here and said they were victims of the stop and frisk. And so here you are, Sydney, I want to know from you, how do you feel knowing that these so-called black leaders are saying, oh, well, he was just trying to save lives. I know what you did.
Statistics, most of the crime happened in the black community, so he went in there to try to clean it up.
Yeah, but you have somebody like Gregory Meeks saying, well, I know you were just trying to save lives, and so we accept your apology. How does that make you feel?
How is he speaking for the rest of us? Well,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. You have black leaders who, again, I'm saying that loosely, who will get up on their platform and pretend or pass themselves off like they're speaking for the rest of us, and they're not speaking for the rest of us, but there's a lot of people who will go, like I said, Mike Bloomberg is trending third behind Sanders and Biden, when the dude just got in the race less than a month ago. Now all of a sudden he's doing great with black people. How is he doing great? And I think part of it is because you do have these black leaders who are, saying, well, he said he was sorry. And then there's this other thing, and I'm going to get to your comments right after this. There's this other thing that I've heard trending. There's no such thing as a perfect candidate. We got to pick somebody.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah, but it's like, well, do we? Right. Do we have to pick somebody?
And then both parties are using the scare tactic of, oh, that's a socialist thing, and it's here's what's really sad. People do not know the difference between communism and socialism. Communism is a form of government. The Chinese government is communist, but their economics is capitalist. Now, here in America, Generation Fail and above. I'll never. You want to get Trump out of there, but I'll never vote for Bernie if he's the nominee, whatever, because he's for socialism. Some of the most popular programs in the United States are socialist. Social Security, Medi-Cal.
Right.
That's a socialist program.
Right.
And so these people don't understand the difference between the different things. Socialism is an economic system where everybody shares the burden, where capitalism in its pure form is brutal.
Right.
Dog eat dog.
And so, Sydney, you say, what's up, fam? What's
What is
happening,
up?
Sydney? And Andrew, what's going on? Shalom to you as well. And Sydney says, Donovan, you should be
Fired.
fired. Fix the camera. So we saw that. And Steve, what's happening? Says, hey, Queen D and Brother Donovan, what up? Sydney says, just fire him. Hey, Ricky. He says, sup, Don.
Sup?
And then you say the Minority
Report was the movie, right?
Oh, okay,
Right.
that's the one you're talking about. Okay, cool. And the car, what's going on? He said, perhaps the field is purposely saturated to further divide us. More importantly, I don't forgive Mike. Yeah, I don't either. And I don't think neither of us.
Nobody should.
I mean, forgive him, I guess, but vote him in, hell no.
Yeah, well, okay, forgive, but don't forget.
I mean, I'm not going to forgive him.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But don't forget what he did.
What, we going to vote him in?
Yeah. How many lives have been destroyed? Doesn't that matter?
Lots.
Doesn't that matter?
And not only destroyed, but that's traumatizing to have to walk down the street and wonder if today is the day. Okay, especially if you've been stopped 20 or 30 times, but is this stop going to land me in jail? You know, and I'm going to have to prove I didn't do something because, you know, I fit the description or whatever.
And you got to think about this. When a black person is stopped, number one, we're already hypersensitive and we're on hyper alert as well. So the minute they stop you, let's say they just don't like you, what do they charge you with? Resisting arrest.
Right. They'll find something.
Yeah, something.
And we know, you know.
Battering an officer, even though you just said, hey.
Right.
You're pulling my arm, but I'm pulling my arm back. Oh, that's battery on officer.
Well, we also know, you know, that especially the New York, a lot of New York precincts are notorious for fabricating stuff on innocent people.
What?
So, yeah, I mean.
Are you sure?
Positive.
If it's in the report, it's got to be, what?
No.
You sure?
Positive. Yeah.
They're fabricating reports.
They're lying on people. Just straight up lying.
Wait. So when he says that the person ran and then I shot, body cam turned off.
Yeah.
Got it. The body cam. That's when the body cam
lies.
went, and then he puts in the narrative
Yes.
after that.
And so, hi, Tori. And they are sharing the link. So
Yes.
if you are on the watch parties, please come over here and comment so I can see your comments. And hey, Herbert, what's going on? Me and Herbert have become friends. We have been conversing over the phone.
Is that? Did you get Al's permission? Al, watch what's love got to do with it.
Stop it. So how are you today? And Stevie says, hell no, we don't want Bloomberg. I don't forgive him for that. That isn't Russia. That isn't Russia or any communist state. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, but again, these are the people we call our leaders, and we keep voting them in. But you know, the good thing, and Farrakhan talked about this. He says that Trump is exposing a lot of things.
Yes.
And he talked about this even before, when Trump
said that
first
last night.
got into office. He said
He's upsetting the apple cart.
he is upsetting the apple cart, and it's exposing a lot of things, and it's forcing especially black people to come to terms with what's really going on. And it's forcing a lot of people to come to terms with what's going on with the Trump presidency. He talked about how Trump really wants to be king. He wants to be a king. And we know the difference between a king and a president. You know, they want people to bow down and, you know, they want to rule over everything. I have the final say and all of that.
Well, didn't Omarosa say that? You guys will bow down.
I don't know who she was talking to, but
in all his greatness.
Yeah, so you know, a lot of what I mean by things, a lot of things are being exposed. Well, a lot of these people, especially a lot of these black leaders, are being exposed because a lot of times people run for office for what? For what reasons? For prestige, power, and
access,
money.
Right? Access to the power and to the money.
And so we know that a lot of these black leaders, and I know a lot of leaders do, but we're talking about black leaders. A lot of these black leaders want to be next to the source. You know, that's why you see all these pastors who are supposed to be leading their flock, you know, to glory, if you will, are up under somebody like Trump, saying Trump is all right and this, that, and the other, negating the whole separation of church and state and all of that. But it's exposing these people for who they really are. They don't give a damn about black people. They only give a damn, and that's what Farrakhan talked about too, and we talk about this a lot here, how a lot of black people individually are well off, But we all need to be well off as a people collectively.
When we look at the curve, the bell curve.
Yeah, well, it's like what curve?
Yeah,
Exactly.
We
don't have one, and so a lot of times, and that's what these a lot of these black leaders are doing. They're like, well, I'm good, I'm well off, but what about the district that you are representing? Your district, as Donovan would say, with somebody like Maxine Waters. Now I know a lot of people love Maxine Waters, Auntie Maxine. She's reclaiming her time.
I'm sorry. Got to get my wig together. Get it straight, girl.
She's reclaiming her time and all of that, but if you look at her district...
Haven't heard from her in over a year.
Yeah, she's like gone away. She's supposed to be the chairman of the finance committee and all. She's supposed to be holding Trump accountable.
Wait. And then ask yourself this. Why would you put her in charge of the finance committee when she was censored by the Congress for financial misdealings with her and her husband?
Money publicans. Okay, they're all about the money, right?
I'm going to cut you off, but it's really funny how people who are watching the show now, there's a lot of people, they didn't know this stuff.
Right. But Maxine Waters' district is among the worst. But yet she's doing among the best as far as, money and, she's got this, I guess, kind of new found fame, if you will. Everybody loves Auntie Maxine because she don't take no mess from Trump. She tells Trump
Maxine
like
Waters
it is.
is worth, they say, $60 million.
Roughly.
And counting. Mm-hmm. Now, that's just her. Now, her husband, that's a different story.
But drive through her district. So if
you guys are watching football, where that new stadium is, where the Chargers and the Rams are going to play, that's her district.
Now, what's going on? And Ricky, I'm going to get to your comment. So in her district, where this new stadium is a lot of gentrification going on.
There was a lot of homes there, black homes.
That people cannot afford to live there anymore. We tell you guys about the story all the time about the man whose house was near the new stadium. His rent for a long time was, I think, under $1,000. It tripled. It tripled because of the new stadium, because there's not a lot of rent control laws in California. There are some
when it comes
places,
to rentals, when it comes to rentals.
So he had to move with his sister. And do you know that her rent went up as well?
And they still couldn't afford it. Two people with an income.
Afford it. So this is in Maxine Waters' district, but yet, so again, we go back to talking about individually, a lot of black people, well, not a lot, but, quite a few black people are doing well. But as a whole, black people aren't doing well. So.
Right. And then in her district where that stadium was built, follow the money. I almost know for a fact the developers that are part of that stadium project, guess where they donated to?
Where?
Aunt Maxine's campaign.
Are you sure?
You know what? I haven't even seen the forms, but I know that that's what went down. You will find donations from those developers.
Right. And Ricky says, me and my wife at the time got stopped and frisked in Brooklyn's Crown Heights while Bloomberg was mayor. I felt horrible because I could not crack a motherfucker across the jaw for upsetting my wife. I couldn't do anything but hold her until she stopped crying. Yeah, and so that's the other story. I'm glad you brought that up too, Ricky. That's the other story people don't tell, because a lot of times when we hear that black and brown men were stopped,
normal.
Well, we often think they were by themselves. Hey, I'm just walking along, going to get a soda, whatever. I'm by myself. But oftentimes, those men were with their wives and their children. Imagine, okay, your wife, that's horrible. But imagine your children. You're walking down, because a lot of people in New York, they don't have cars, so you walk, right? So let's say you're with your children and then you get pulled over and thrown up against the wall, as Mike Bloomberg said to do. Throw them up against the wall, and Trump too.
Trump says rough them up.
Yeah, but this is going on in front of your children, and to your point, I'm helpless. There's nothing I can do.
Now, well, think about this. Okay, you're with your children, and let's say they do put a charge on you. Now they've got you in cuffs. The kids see that, which is traumatic. Now you got to get somebody to come get your kids, or the state gets them, which is a traumatic experience for the children as they're being taken down to the station or wherever they're doing.
Right.
It's
and
it's
then
sad.
you have someone like Gregory Meeks, who says, well, we know you were just trying to save lives. What you did, Mike, was kind of bad. And, we know you're sorry. You said you're sorry, but we know you were just trying to save lives. But you got someone like my friend Ricky here, who his wife at the time is traumatized. And I'm sure that's something she, and I know you, will never forget. The countless amount of people who were with their children will never forget watching dad being thrown up against the wall, roughed up and frisked and questioned, and those police officers. A lot of times we see that they have no regards for the children.
No.
They don't care about doing that to their dad in front of them.
Yeah, and think about this as a man, your manhood. Mm-hmm. You're this leader of your family, and you're a strong black man, whatever, or a black or whatever, strong father in your figure, and then you're in public, and this person emasculates you.
Well, that's part of the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of racism, especially in regards to black men, is to emasculate them. So I mean, that's not something rare. Because that was what was done on the plantation.
Right. But how does that affect your children? That people see that?
It's supposed to affect your children.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that we agree with it. I'm saying it's supposed to affect your children because we want, and I'm speaking from the ideology of a Mike Bloomberg or police, we want them to see that daddy ain't shit. Daddy can't save you. We always going to have the upper hand, and this going to be you next. And therefore, we don't want you to rise up because this is going to be you. So it's a subliminal thing
message
that's being sent to the kids, which is why a lot of times we've seen the videos, they don't care the kids are there. I mean, it seems like it's almost like they go harder on the father or whoever it is that's being roughed up because of the kids are there. Mm-hmm. So that's very traumatic. And so we have these people being our black leaders, so-called, are telling us it's okay. It's okay. He's sorry. Everybody, this is another thing. Everybody deserves a second chance. That's what they're saying. Everybody deserves a second chance. But it's like,
Lord, even though the Satan has just done everything against you, he needs a second chance. Give the Satan a second chance to do more evil.
It's something wrong with us. Not all of us, but a lot of us. And so, Ricky, you say, he says, Bloomberg trying to rally for black voters and he think we're predators. The police was stopping women too, with that shit. And I've seen male cops frisking women way too long. I have real hate for that dude. Yeah. And again, and that's the other part of it. Because a lot of times we know that it was targeting black men, but hell, we know black women were targeted. I tell you guys all the time that I've been racially profiled by police on a few occasions. For doing absolutely nothing, and they couldn't even tell me why. They tried to make up something. Oh, we thought you were somebody else. Really? How? You were going that way, and I was going out. How did you think I was somebody or whatever?
Right. How many of you guys remember the beloved? Think about how beloved Ronald Reagan is with white people. Right. Oh, Reagan was the great communicator, right? Did you tell them how he took away black people's rights because they were walking around with guns?
Oh, you're talking about the Black Panther?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Here's a guy that's a beloved guy. He's for the Constitution and all this other stuff, but he manipulated the system to where it took away people's rights.
Yes. So we all know that story. The Black Panthers got sick and tired of the police terrorizing black people. And so they decided to arm themselves and protect their own self against police officers and, the murder and the brutality that was going on. And Ronald Reagan, who was the governor of California, said, okay, now we are going to conceal and carry. We're not going to open and carry no more because Black Panthers are walking, at the courthouses
with the Constitution and their guns.
With the guns. And so that's why we don't have that law open and carry in California anymore. Specifically, it was the Mulford Act, I think it was called, that changed the laws, if you will. And so,
right. But if you go to some of these other states right now, when the white guy opens and carries, it's no problem. We don't want to infringe on his rights. But when people of color and black people, I'm always going to separate that, and black people do it, oh, it's a problem. We got to lock it down. There's something wrong.
Well, because we also need to know that the laws, no laws, and I love this what Farrakhan said. He said, what is it, the Pledge of Allegiance, because I get them all mixed up because I haven't said them in years. Pledge of Allegiance, where it says, and justice for all. He said his mom said in her West Indian accent, as a child, she told him, when you get for the justice for all, you need to say, and justice for white people. Right. So the point being made is that these laws
don't apply,
were never made to benefit black people at all. And what's happening, Abdullah? Abdullah was trying to take me to task over my spaghetti. Nah, me and him are both vegans alike, and so we chop it up about different. He's more alkaline than I am. I eat mostly alkaline, but sometimes I do venture off the grid. But I tell you what, Abdul, it was bomb.
Why did you put some ground beef juice in there?
No. No. And you say, first thing black folks need to do is invest in security. I'm not talking about niggas standing around with guns running out of their house with slippers. I can't stand with slippers. We need a real detailed security network to protect real leaders because we can easily get touched. Let's put things in perspective. Sure. Do you think this evil government would have took down Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma if we had a security network that works similar to the Homeland Security? We need to establish that first. We won't do well economically until we protect our interests because the pale-faced man can easily take us out. They're killing us with the food and water, and have the police shooting us. We have to implement security and warfare. You know what? My older brother believes the same thing you believe. Yeah. He's like, we need to strengthen our security first. And then to your point with Black Wall Street, one thing I don't want people to get the impression is that the black people, black men of Wall Street took it. They just laid down and took it. They did not lay down and take it. In fact, they fought like hell until they could not fight anymore. It should also be known that the men in the town next to Greenwood also got together with other people, other white people, to help take them down. And so those black men did fight like hell to preserve what they had. So they didn't just say, okay, well,
beat me in the head.
No, they didn't do that. Right. But I agree with you. We do need to, I impress upon everybody to watch the movie called The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Yes.
That
my God.
Excellent book.
It's on YouTube, so there's no excuse why you can't watch it. It's on YouTube.
And
excellent movie.
They were giving us the blueprint, you know. Yep. So a lot of us think it's just entertainment, but no, it's not.
Subliminal messaging.
Yes. It wasn't even really subliminal.
Yeah, right.
You know, the one thing I loved about that movie is they left the end vague. Like, okay, the rest is up to you guys. That movie was over 40 years ago. Yes. You know? And so
during the blaxploitation.
Yes. Thing. You know, a lot of people probably thought it was blaxploitation. There's this fantasy, these black militants who are taking it back and they fighting against the man. And we really need to, you know, pay attention to that. And let's see Sydney. Here. And Cindy says, I'm back. Well, where did you go? Enrique says, I'm not okay. I'm not forgiving. And I know exactly what they are doing, keeping their agenda going. Absolutely. And it's nothing for some of these black leaders to take a couple of bucks. Oh, okay, yes, Mike. We'll go ahead and tell Malcolm X warned us about that. They'll get a couple of these so-called black leaders and celebrities to get out there and say, oh, well, he's all right. And if I think he's all right, you guys should think he's all right, too. Well, and guess what we'll do? Well, I guess he's all right.
Right.
If Steve Harvey likes him, I like him, too.
Exactly. You know, it's kind of like the entertainment industry. When I say entertainment, I'm talking about the whole thing. Actors, singers, dancers, whatever. As shady as we know about the record business. Oh, we don't like gangster rap. Remember that was a big controversy? But gangster rap made billions of dollars. You know, and you know the white guy's all for it until the heat is turned on. And then they just kind of flip it a little bit, and then they say, oh, it's something else. But yet they're still making their money. Look at all these black contracts that are made to these artists that, I mean, it's just like I was watching the Philip Scott show, and he says, it doesn't make any sense for an artist now to have to go sign with them. You could put your own stuff out.
The money
control your own destiny.
But see, I think we need to look at it this way too. I'm gonna get to you guys' comments. It's nothing for these big giant record labels to make these people being like, you know, the Young Thug. See, I'm not really in touch with all those people. You're Megan Thee Stallions and all those people. Not even throw Lizzo in there for a whole lot of good reasons. But it's nothing for them to write them a big giant check, making them wealthy, because we know that music is the portal to influence a lot of people. Yes. And so we'll pay them millions and millions of dollars to negatively influence a whole generation. Yes, and a whole community. And you know why our community gets affected the most by that is because not all of us, but a lot of us are asleep. We allow our children to just, like, we don't have a grasp on our children the way we used to. And so that's why a lot of these musical artists, if you will, are able to get a hold of our children. So, if we believe that there's an agenda to ruin black people, the black community, we also need to believe that they who are helping to do this with the agenda, well, there's no price they'll pay. Hell, I'll give them a couple millions to do that, because in the long run, it's worth it for us as white supremacy, if you will. And so, and Sydney says those laws weren't created for us. Absolutely. And Ricky says Donovan just said ground beef juice. I'm gonna go wait in the car. Damn well I ain't no ground beef juice. Hey, and Steve, you said what's the book's name again? Which book? Let's say The Spook That Sat by the Door. Is that the book I was talking about? The movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a book and a movie. So it was a book that was made into a movie, and that movie you can see it on YouTube. Called The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Yeah. If you want to know what the book is, I don't think it was titled that. I don't think the book was titled that. Was it? It was? Mm-hmm. Okay. So sometimes you got it backwards. Like do the movie and Wikipedia it, and you can get the book.
Yeah. And Abdulia says they ran out of the house with guns in Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work, Dimitri. You have a security intel before they can make it that close. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not necessarily true either, because they knew. Okay, I'll try to be brief with this. So it's not like they ran out of the house with guns. It's not true. They heard what happened with the man in the elevator. And as you guys, it's interesting. I was listening to The Breakfast Club, and Charlie Wilson, who is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, told the story that his great-grandmother, I think it was, told him that the black man that was accused of touching the white woman, they were actually together. Mm-hmm. But it was a secret, and when the elevator doors opened, white men saw them getting out, and then she hollered that he touched her or something like that. And so word had gotten back to the town, and so the men in the town got them set their security, if you will, together, and went to help save this guy and to stop try to stop what was to come. So it wasn't like they was in there smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey. And we need to, I think we do them a disservice when we say that they didn't do enough, because it doesn't make sense to say these men didn't do enough to protect their town, and they built a whole thriving community. It had like 2 or 3 hospitals and schools and grocery stores.
It's kind of like going down to Little Saigon and Orange County and Koreatown.
So
except they had their own economic
their own town.
Yeah.
So I think we do them a disservice to say that all these Negroes were just sitting up there because that's the Negroes we are today. That's the kind of stuff we do now. But I think we do them a disservice to say that they were resting on pretty or just laurels. Being comfortable with what they had. So that's not necessarily true, Ricky. Let's see. And
Sydney says, I had a call. That's why he had to jump off and jump back in.
No, it wasn't Ricky that said that. My bad. It was Abdullah, not Ricky. Abdullah. Mm-hmm. My bad. Ricky's probably like, I didn't say that. That's that ground beef juice she's drinking. Sydney says he had a call. Hey, Denise. And he says, I can't believe the crumbs that we get satisfied with. For example, black Barbies, black Miss Universe, black head of XYZ, etc. As if this ish is benefiting the masses. Yes, you know what? I'm like you, Denise, in that when I see, we have the first black this. I just saw something the other day. Somebody did the first black something.
No, it's probably today. The lady that died today, she was the first black model on Mademoiselle magazine.
No, it wasn't that. It was something else. Something, I don't know. And every time I see that, I'm like, why are we still enamored by the validation of white? I don't get it. I'm like, okay, and so what? What does that do for us as a collective? So Donovan was the first Negro to the backflip off of the roof and survive. I mean,
right. I'm the first to do it.
How does that help me?
It doesn't.
Okay.
But it makes you feel good.
Yeah, so Steve, I hope that helps. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Please, you guys, go to YouTube and watch that.
There's no excuse why you can't watch that movie. It's on YouTube.
And tell everybody else to watch it. And Ricky says, Lizzo is the perfect proof. Black people don't know when they are being insulted. That's a very pretty woman that they are over-sexualizing her while glorifying obesity. I hate it here. Yeah. And you know what?
We did a show on that.
I'm a Lizzo fan. But
very talented young lady. Very talented.
And I'm sad for her because I 100% agree with you. Mm-hmm. I'm sad for her because I don't think she knows that she's being used. She's being used to promote a whole lot of nonsense. I mean, now every time we see Lizzo, we see her asshole down there.
Yeah, it's a clown. I see a clown.
Yeah, so. I mean, but it's like, but even the NAACP Awards gave her the Entertainer of the Year last night. And I'm like, okay, well, I could get it, for her singing and all body positivity, because, everybody can't be no size 2.
Well, yeah. Well, she's a singer, and like I said, a flutist and stuff. I mean,
but everything else is now overshadowing that. I mean, like I say, you see her booty hole every time she's twerking, and she's running on the beach, I guess you're on the beach with a bikini on, but she's like always.
Oh my God, that picture with that bikini.
Calm down, killer. Calm down.
I can't. I mean,
calm down.
Yeah, go, please.
Calm down.
Please continue.
So I agree with you, Ricky. She's being used, and but you got to look at who is promoting her. Yeah. Look who's promoting people. Like, I'm not talking about her musical talent, because she's very talented, but I'm talking about the nonsense that she's participating in. Her verbiage is just like. And she just keeps the Time Entertainer of the Year, NAACP Entertainer of the Year, and she's here and she's there.
Nobody's going to take her seriously about anything, because, like I said, when I saw that picture of her on the beach or whatever, you know what I thought of? Norbert Rafusia. Excuse me, ma'am. Did you have bottoms on? Of course I do. You know what I mean? That's what I thought about. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe. And don't get me. I'm not trying to body shame her, but what I'm saying is, you don't go in public like that. You just don't do that. That's not good. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's not good.
And Denise, you said, I never put the first black anything. Yeah, I mean, like, who are like, and you also say too many people measuring themselves with Nzungus. I hope I said that right. Yardstick. I'm not really quite sure what that is. Please enlighten me. And let's see. Kevin, what's happening?
He wrote a book.
It says, finally got you live. Yes, because sometimes I see you comment on the shows that are past, but yes, we are glad you were here live with us.
Yes, welcome.
You say, what's up, my people? I see words that express my heart. I don't care that Africans born in America say they don't mean us. Too bad. I say it means me. And until Africans born in America divorce themselves from European born in America, there is no union possible. The fact that I propose a universal pilgrimage to the continent of Africa and vice versa means the idea is out there. As God says, there are seeking that are seeking a path of life and abundance of it. Gathering us in the spirit and flesh will serve to heal a nation that has been spitefully used and attacked without a cause. Join with me in supporting our independence and not having to go anywhere or build an army of fighters. Food for thought. Okay, well, what's the plan, man? What's the plan?
Right.
Break it on down.
The revolution will not be advertised.
Right on. Won't be on Facebook either.
Won't be on Facebook. So,
despite the memes you see,
yes.
Okay, the revolution ain't gonna be on Facebook.
Yeah, it's not gonna be televised. Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, I just really believe.
Got plenty of time. Good.
Okay, cool. Because I want to go to something else. Okay. So that's gonna work out fine.
Yes, it's gonna work out just fine.
I really believe that we need to start holding these other leaders at the local and state election accountable too, because they aren't doing us any good at all. They're enriching themselves and they are starving everybody else.
The Russian Revolution. Get ready.
And those people could not be where they are if it wasn't for the voters, plain and simple, but just like, I'm not surprised, but I am a little surprised that somebody like Mike Bloomberg is being taken seriously by black people. It's like, for real.
You're going to replace one shithead so-called billionaire with a real billionaire?
And that's exactly what Farrakhan said. He says you're going to replace one with another.
Right. I mean, they both, when you're on that level, you don't listen to nobody. You don't want to. You
want to be a king.
Yeah, you're like, what? You're talking back to me? What?
You're right. Kiss my hand. Yes. Kiss the ring.
Yes. Yes, dear leader. Yes, dear leader.
But that's what people are doing, though. That's what, if you think about
that is so
like
embarrassing.
Trump, that's what people are doing. He's like this deity to them. And you think about it, these are some big time Christians who are acting like that with Trump. And you ain't supposed to worship no other God but God. Have no other gods but God.
And it's kind of showing you that these white people don't give a damn about democracy. They don't. Democracy is set up to keep people of color and black people down and controlled. That's all it's about. They don't care.
Right. And Ricky says, yep, I thought of...
Norbert too. See? I'm not alone. Of course I do. How you doing?
What's wrong with y'all?
It's just, oh man. I mean, when you got that pouch,
Listen,
did she have any kids?
no.
Okay. What does she have a pouch for then?
Everybody ain't gonna be no size 2.
I know that, but what I'm saying is she ain't got a child. I know some big girls that don't have pouches.
You know, you can have a food pouch.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
I don't know why.
Bad dieting. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Bad diet.
Everybody ain't going to be no slender, young tenderoni. So anyway, you guys on the podcast, please come back for the second half. We're going to change topics, so please come right on back.
Yes, but my Amanda.
Oh, and it's my sister's birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
sis.
birthday,
She's not
yes.
on here. Happy. She says, I'm not ashamed to tell people I'm 47.
Go ahead, girl.
And Denise says, tell us the meaning of spot